Hey guys, welcome to Hunkered Down with Seth. Today, you are gonna be the luckiest people alive. I have one of the top improvisers, not only here in the US, but he's a founder of Improv Mumbai. He's also directed tons of movies. There was a movie called, I believe, Beyond Bollywood. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's on
Yeah,
Netflix. Yeah,
that was on Netflix for a
and
bit. I think it's on Amazon Prime now.
I think it's still on Netflix. I don't know. Last time I checked.
There you go. And he's back in Seattle. He's is one of my good buddies. I can't imagine my life with him or without him. The one, the only Adam Dow. Adam, thanks for spending some time with me. I'm glad you could take some time out of your sitting at your parents' house doing nothing to do this.
Well, thank you, Seth. I really appreciate you letting me get on this podcast with you. Yeah, hunkered down with Seth. It's pretty amazing times these times, huh?
Oh, incredible. Now, you were in India for a little while. Did you come back because of the
I was in
virus?
India just about 2 weeks ago, actually.
2 weeks
I was in
ago.
India. Yeah, I was teaching at a film school there called the Whistling Woods, and I was also had some other two or three other courses I was running at the same time, teaching improv comedy and theater, and things were going really well. I had a bunch of students. Was auditioning for doing some acting parts in some Bollywood films, and all of a sudden things started getting canceled and started getting much more serious all of a sudden. And I kind of realized once everybody's going to have to stay inside and how the whole quarantine thing was going to happen, I thought, if I'm going to have to be in quarantine, it'd probably be better back here in Seattle, at least close to my folks. So I came back to Seattle and had to, unfortunately, didn't get to finish any of my classes.
Oh, that's too bad. Have you tried like online? Are you still in touch with them?
Yeah, I still have everyone's contact details. Yeah, I'm still getting used to the whole online teaching. I mean, teaching an improv course. Improv is so much about being interactive and being in that physical space with somebody that I'm sure more class I could teach a class, but a lot of the games and exercises that we do would definitely change.
Yeah.
And I may get around to redeveloping that, but now that I'm back in Seattle, I've got busy with a bunch of other projects already, so
Oh, cool.
working on that. I'm doing some video. I'm making some short films right now, just here at the house. I'm going to be doing them on Theater Sports or Seattle Theater Sports is doing this duos night, run by Jay Hitt. I'll be putting up one of my very short films that I just made on there for their duos night. Now online duos because we can no longer meet in person anymore. So
Yep.
yay, online virtual reality, I guess.
Yeah,
At least we got that.
yeah, we do.
I mean,
I
at
was
least it's not 1918 or like all stuck in our own houses with no way to communicate.
yeah, or even 2005. I mean, can you imagine doing all this on MySpace? It's
Oh
incredible.
yeah, good old MySpace. That thing died real quickly, didn't it? It was like so popular for a while, and then like within a week, it just seemed like everybody got off it and moved on.
Well,
I guess this
Facebook
was
came
before
along and then
Facebook.
everybody realized I don't have to learn HTML to make a Facebook page.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I remember you used to copy and paste all these weird HTML lines just to like get your screen to flash or weird thing.
Yeah. What was your MySpace page like? What was your background like? What were the graphics?
I thought I had a flashing graphic at one point, and I had a picture of all these kind of weird art projects I'd done. I have all these odd masks and like heads. I make all these weird heads I did in college, and then made a couple of films where the characters have giant heads. So I had some photos of that, and then yeah, just a few photos of me when I was in India, and then yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Can't remember how long we used or MySpace
Yeah.
for because it's so long ago now.
Definitely. I remember
Do you
mine was
remember yours?
like a black background with the orange accent. I had like the Halloween type thing, but I also had some songs, like I had a Prince song that would play automatically. I don't know.
Oh
I
man, that was. Yeah, I think we used MySpace for how long was it popular? Like 3 years, maybe
see.
4 years,
I
even
think
that long.
between 2006 and 2008,
Yeah. Oh
maybe
yeah. So it was popular for a while.
a little after
It
2008,
was.
because I remember setting up some bookings, like comic bookings, in through MySpace.
Yeah. I remember doing Facebook when I first went to India. I think I got my for the that was like 2007, 8, 2008 or 9 is when I made my account. I was in India when I made my Facebook account, I think.
Yeah,
And now it's just like taken over everything, and it's like grown so much. It's kind of like the coronavirus. It just all of a sudden was like a small thing and then blew up. Hopefully, it doesn't. Coronavirus doesn't last as long as Facebook.
oh, God, but hopefully it's less intrusive than Facebook too.
Yeah,
You don't want to be like, hey, hold on, I got to check my coronavirus. I'm expecting something.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. At least coronavirus just attacks your throat and your chest. Meanwhile, Facebook gets into all your other shit.
yeah,
So,
definitely. It attacks your family too. Although the difference is with coronavirus, you don't really find out who the real assholes are.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is true.
Man,
So then, how long you been doing this podcast here for? What number am I on in the series?
you're definitely in the 20s. Um, I've been
Whoa.
I've been doing it since around St. Patrick's Day, and a
Oh,
little
nice.
before that, and I've done some days one, couple days two. So yeah, I just
Yeah.
been doing that. Really, it was my excuse to. I knew I was going to be quarantined for a long time, and I didn't want the only people I speak with is my lovely lady who, she doesn't really want to be involved in this. Or so to keep my sanity, I'm just reconnecting with people. I've talked with people I haven't spoken to in like 5 years, and really, I'm just doing.
Oh, wow.
This is really doing well for me.
Yeah. I think it's funny. I mean, with stuff like this, really makes you value, what you got and the people you got. And now that everybody is kind of forced to kind of sit down and stay in place, you got kind of get those chances to go back and reconnect. I've been finding myself went through all these old photos I had. So I took a bunch of photos and sent them to other friends so that they remembered how it was in times past. So it was kind of cool
Yeah.
going back through all of that old stuff, you know, and then reconnecting with friends I hadn't talked to in like ages.
Yeah,
But
and you find out the craziest stories, like Dave Johnson, our friend Dave. He had
yeah,
a very interesting story of how he got into improv. So it was like
oh yeah,
positive. Um,
oh that's cool.
yeah,
I'm trying to think. I did. I started doing improv when I was in high school, and we had. I went to Franklin High School, the officially oldest high school in Seattle, and we would do the theater sports tournament. I remember, and a friend of mine asked me to try out an audition, and because I was kind of like the class clown, didn't really get into theater much. I did some sports, but nothing that was really like I wasn't on any of the teams. I just did boxing and
yeah,
some little bit of soccer. And then so I tried out and I got on it and it stuck. I think we won the year that my senior year when we did it. We won the tournament and then we got to go up to Canada and play against a team in Vancouver. And then I graduated from high school and I just got sucked into it. Started doing it when I went to the UW. They didn't even have a club then, and I helped start the club there. And then it's shit. Every time I go away from improv, I end up getting sucked right back in. So it's kind
yeah,
of one of those things like once you're kind of hooked, you're hooked.
yeah. That's basically improv. It's the class clown going pro.
Well, there's some that's true, but then there's also the like master thespians that go and do it, and then they're like, oh, this is a thing I do on the side.
God, they're so annoying. I hate those. The Felkers, the Robins. God, they're so annoying. By the way,
Yeah.
Brandon Felker and Jessica Robbins, you guys could outact me and make me laugh harder than anybody, so I just want to throw that out there. So,
Oh, yeah. Very fun, very fun, talented people.
oh, way more talented than me. So far, I'm still working on it.
You've been nerding out on your video games.
Totally, completely. Like,
I was able to find my original Nintendo,
oh, really?
and that's what I've been jamming out on some original Mario Brothers, Karate
Nice.
Champion, Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Oh, wow.
Been a big one. Oh yeah.
Interesting thing
I
about
still
Mike
got
Tyson's Punch Out, when you finally
Yeah.
fight Mike Tyson, and it took them like 30 years to find this little cheat. There's this person in the crowd where if they move their head before Mike Tyson throws a punch, and that's how you like watch this one guy in the crowd, and when he moves his head, you got to dodge.
Wow. I haven't gotten to Mike Tyson yet, so now when I get there, I know what to do.
Yeah, who you at? Soda Popinski, the Sandman?
I think God, I can't remember. It was some guy with the No, it was after Mustache Guy, and then I got to the Latin dancer guy. And
Oh,
he puts his like arm up in the air and does a little like salsa dance. Or
yeah, the
something.
Flamingo.
And then he goes.
Don Flamingo, right?
Yeah, I can't remember his name. You obviously have
Yeah.
far better memory than I do.
And after that is, well, you gotta understand, I've got nothing better to do right now, so,
You beat Mike Tyson in the video game. I never even got to Mike Tyson, so I'm highly impressed.
no, I've always had trouble with Soda Popinski. That's the guy.
That's the guy that's hard, huh?
Yeah.
Does Nintendo even still make? Did Nintendo become Xbox, or what is Nintendo now? Is it even around?
Yeah, it's still around. They make the Nintendo Switch. They're more into, like, the handheld gaming.
Oh yeah, the Game Boy. Did you ever have a Game Boy?
I had not only a Game Boy, but a Game Boy Color. I come from a Nintendo family. I had every I had every generation from Nintendo up to the GameCube.
Oh wow, I kind of cut out. I had the Super Nintendo, and I got Game Boy, and then I tapped out at that point.
Yeah. I was actually the first person in my high school to get an Xbox.
Wow, Xbox been around that long?
Oh yeah.
They had Halo was the only one for that. Yeah, I never got. There was a certain point where I realized that I had to focus on school and other things, and I just kind of checked out of video games, which I'm now relearning to do again.
Yeah.
I lost almost a full year of college playing that Warcraft game. Did you ever play that one, Warcraft and Spacecraft?
No. I knew that was going to be too addictive for me, so I just stayed away from it. Plus,
Yeah, I almost failed college because of that damn game.
yeah. And another thing about Warcraft is when it was at its peak around like 2006, 2007, I was extremely broke and basically I was working my day job then going straight to the comedy clubs at night. So that was my routine. So when Warcraft was at its height, I was just, day job, then comedy clubs, then on the weekends I would just hang out and day drink with my friends and then go to the comedy clubs again.
Yeah. Oh man. Yep, those were the days back then, huh?
Oh,
Back when you could work at a coffee shop and make enough money to fucking make rent.
definitely.
You could and then you'd have your band or you'd work at your coffee shop job or just it just seemed so much simpler back then. But now
God.
it seems like way more of a hustle. Or maybe it's just you get older and you don't.
No, it's
I don't know.
it's two things. One, no artist can afford to live in Seattle anymore. You got,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Well, how can an artist survive and live in LA? I mean, LA must be tough.
yeah, LA is tough. It's getting to the point where it's like Seattle, where people move here for the dreams, but then when they crash out, they just move back to Omaha.
Yeah, yeah. But that story's been around for a long time.
Yep.
The ever famous moving to LA, getting off the bus, all bright eyed, and then getting jaded and eaten up.
Yeah, basically the music
But
video for Welcome to the Jungle.
pretty much, there you go.
Yep.
Uh,
And so, are you going to move
so
down
I'm
to
glad you're
LA?
sticking it out down there. I want to come visit you once this thing's all over. I
Yeah.
love doing that road trip down from Seattle to LA. It's such a fucking great drive.
Oh, definitely. And there's a lot of stuff for you to do down here too. You could always grab an improv show. There's like,
Mm.
but the thing is, I have no idea what's coming because I think a lot of people, because there's no shows going on, there's most of the jobs are crashing out. It's a lot of people are moving out of LA right now. Plus, a lot of people are
Yeah.
losing their homes, unfortunately, too. So
I
it's
was going out speaking of the same thing because when I was in Mumbai and all this started happening, like everybody, because Mumbai is a lot like LA in the sense that Bollywood is there. A lot of people have moved there to like make it in film and TV or acting or comedy or any kind of art and entertainment. And everybody I knew was like all these my friends that were actors or writers, all were like, I'm going back home. They're all leaving. Some were keeping. A lot of people were trying to keep their places. Some people were getting rid of their places. Uh, it's just yeah. I mean, those that can have the financial means to do that, more power to them. But a lot of people are just like, I mean, especially in a place like Mumbai where it's just so many people, the idea of doing self-isolation is next to impossible.
definitely.
So,
And
yeah, just that was one of the other reasons once I realized all my friends were leaving, I was like, I don't want to be stuck in this small room and not be able to move around and for months on end and not get to work. So I was just like,
yeah,
luckily they let me change my plane ticket for no extra cost, so that was really good.
oh,
I had
that's
a
cool.
return ticket. Yeah, I was supposed to finish up my classes in first part of May, be done, and then come back in May. So I was like, well, just go home and a month earlier, and it's fine.
Yeah.
And they were like, emergency situation, so they waive the fees. I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh,
So
definitely.
originally I was going to leave 5 days. I made the decision to go. I was going to leave in 5 days, and then I was talking to some of my friends, and they're like, you shouldn't wait 5 days because you don't know what's going to happen. They're going to shut the border. You won't be able to fly. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then I was able to call back, make sure I checked with the embassy, and I checked with the airline to make sure I could make it back. And they said, yeah, if you go right now, you can. And I left probably 2 days after making the decision. No,
Wow.
1.5 days. And I got back, and it wasn't very complicated. But then if I had left on Tuesday, they shut the border. So I probably wouldn't have been able to get back then.
Oh, wow.
Or it would have been much more expensive. Yeah, and the flight that I was flying on, they shut it down. So they're not even doing that flight anymore. Though I know you can get back now. I know one American who actually's come from Mumbai back to LA, or he's gone to LA. He's from New York. I don't know what he's doing there, but I saw on Facebook. So you are able to get back, but I don't think they have as many regular flights, and I don't think, I'm sure you have to pay quite a bit to get on that.
Yeah, literally everybody's cutting back.
Yeah, I mean, well, my one friend, she's stuck in Vietnam right now, and she can't get back.
Wow.
She was, yeah, she's like stuck over there, and I was like talking to her, and she's like, yeah, I'm having to find a place to rent over here, and I'm gonna have to wait it out. So hopefully she does okay. And her family lives in New York, so New York's not necessarily the best place to be either. So
No.
I don't know.
Well, Seattle's not
It's kinda
necessarily
rough.
the best place. I mean,
Seattle's been doing really well actually for dealing with this virus, and I feel like with Seattle we have gotten more crowded, but you still have room to like socially distance if you choose to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you
But
should. Everyone should be doing it, but you have that ability. But like you can go out in the street and you can walk, and if you see someone, you can keep distance. But somewhere like New York, that'd be much harder to do. Or Bombay, it's like
yeah.
next to impossible.
Well, the thing is, Seattle's
Either
so
people come.
compact itself. It's just such a small area of land where tons of people are. That's why there was the initial flare-ups, just because that and everybody goes to the gum wall too, which I think is, it's time for the gum wall to call it a day.
Yeah, that gum wall got real disgusting for a while. I remember the gum wall for when I was growing up, because I grew up pretty much at that in the Market Theater down in Post Alley where the gum wall is. So I mean, and then even when I was a young kid, my mom worked down at Pike Place Market, so I would be down there all the time hanging out. And after I get done with school, I would come down to the Pike Place and just go to the comic book shop or magic store or whatever. And the gum wall but back in the day, gum wall was less gum and more like funky art and like posters and designs.
Yeah.
And then I remember, and it was not as well, it wasn't as famous. It wasn't even known. I don't even think it was known as the gum wall, actually. It was kind of just Post Alley. And then I can't remember what year it was, but I know it was when I was going back and forth from India. So it's probably after 2007, 2008 time. I remember Jay Hitt, the manager of the theater that we were all going to, just stopped cleaning the wall because it was actually the theater's job to clean the wall.
Really?
And we just said, yeah, we were responsible for cleaning the gum off. And Jay was like, you know what? I'm just not going to clean it anymore. And he was like, you know what? Actually, and then the gum started to grow and grow and grow, and it got. And I remember because I would go to India, I'd be gone for about 8 months, maybe up to a year, and then I would come back, and I was just mortified how gross it had become. And he had his like, I was like, how did you let the wall get so bad? He's like, yeah, it's kind of gross, but people like to come see it. And then I realized there was just hordes of people standing outside just wanting to take photos of that wall, which, before that, nobody had really come there. And I guess I had gotten in a couple of TV shows. I think it's number 2 most germiest place in the world.
Most germiest tourist attraction.
Tourist attraction. You know what number 1 was?
That's the rock in Ireland that people kiss, right?
The Blarney, yeah,
Yeah.
the Blarney Stone or something. You have to like put your head down and everybody kisses the same place over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it is up there. But now I think finally the city stepped in and said they're now paying to clean it and cleaning it off.
Yeah, and they do it every November. I mean, they let it build up, and then every November, gone. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought if there's a place you want to catch hepatitis, that would be it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've never really ever tried or touched that wall.
No.
I avoid it like.
Yeah, I
just try to go into the Market Theater and out as quickly as possible. And it got so bad that the gum started coming into the theater. Like I remember sitting in one of the seats, listening to notes after a show, and by the time I got up, I had gum all over me just from sitting in the seats.
Ugh.
I was like, oh, this is foul. And that smell when it got real bad. Ooh, that was just like, it was like that bubble gum funky smell, but it was not like a yummy smell. It was kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, especially on the really hot days, that was the worst.
Oh God.
When it got in the high 80s, low 90s, that's when you're like, okay, I'm just gonna either go in the theater or just walk down the alley by the waterfront for a minute, because I'd rather smell salty dead fish than whatever this funky gum is.
Yeah. I'm sure 10 years, 20 years down the road, they're going to totally make something like this illegal. It'll be in the history books of, crazy things that happened in Seattle.
Yeah.
Washington State history book.
Well, I think that'll be a little.
4 years will all be a big part of history books now, man.
God. This is nuts.
We're living through some really amazing times, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'd rather live in boring times, like 1997 to 1999. That was the time to live. not a lot
Really,
going
the
on.
'90s? I don't know. '90s is so. The '90s was fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe because I was so young back then. Because I was 90. What did you say to 99? 99 was I was just out of call. I was in college. I think 99.
Yeah. The funny thing
So
about that time period, so the night that Evander Holyfield got his ear bitten off by Mike Tyson, your favorite video game character,
hmm
that same night was my bar mitzvah. And that's how I remember when my bar mitzvah was, the exact day. Because there was a couple people by the bar. So for my bar mitzvah, it was in a hotel, and the the party where all the kids and danced and the little get together that was in the little recreation hall that we rented, and there was a bar next door, and they were showing the fight, and
okay.
one of my uncles came into the
Was a,
bar mitzvah and just said, "Hey, Mike Tyson just bit off Evander Holyfield's ear." So all the kids ran into the bar to watch the replays, to the point where the bartender was like, "If you're under 21, watch the replay once and get out."
oh man,
So
yeah.
so that's how I remember the exact day of my bar mitzvah.
That's a good memory.
It was. I had a
Such a
great
fun.
night. I actually made a lot of
Yeah.
money.
I mean, didn't he bit his ear twice too? I was the part I was amazed that he bit it once and then the ref didn't do anything about it. And
Yeah.
then he got a real good chomp the second time.
Oh, definitely.
And
That.
I think they were cool after that too. I'm like, that was the part I was amazed. I got in a boxing match with someone and they tried to bite my ear off. I don't know if I'd be cool with them afterwards, but
Well, also that was
unless,
probably the biggest payday that Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson has ever seen. Also, I mean, I'm guessing to this day,
yeah,
I don't think either of them have gotten paid more than that fight.
yeah. Well, yeah, I wonder what Mike Tyson does now. He just kind of like chills. I think he's retired fully, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of those
God,
guys
that guy was
who
amazing.
I think he's one of those guys who casinos pay to like make an appearance.
Yeah, he came. He got paid. He came to India once, and they are started their ultimate fighting league over in India. He just came and I think he just hosted one in the event, came and waved and signed some autographs
Nice.
and stuff.
Well, that's cool. I know
But
Evander was really smart with his money too, so
yeah,
not like George Foreman smart, but smart enough where him and his kids never have to worry about money again.
did you ever see the Mike Tyson one man show where he tells his life story?
Oh no, I haven't.
It's directed by Spike Lee. It was really interesting, actually. I used to thought he was super scary and kind of creeped me out, even though he was a really good fighter.
Yeah.
And then I watched his story and it became. I was like, kind of be able to be like, okay, I can see he's, not just this scary person. There's all these other different shades and levels that go on to him, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's pretty interesting.
crazy.
Eric thanks a lot to see him do it
Yeah, and
because
it's really crazy. You ever see the story of the him and the Buster Douglas fight?
no,
Like the story itself, if you just ignore the fact that Tyson lost that fight, leading up to it
right,
was just a crazy chain of events. Like since they wanted it in prime time in the U.S., they fought in Tokyo at like 4 a.m. and
oh wow,
Buster Douglas's mom died like a week before the fight, and
jeez,
and it's like Buster Douglas showed up 6 weeks before in Tokyo to train, and then Mike Tyson showed up like 2 weeks, or less than 2 weeks before the fight to train. So his body wasn't acclimated to the time,
yeah,
and this was the like Mike's first fight without his trainer that brought him through the ranks, and it was just
right.
this incredible events where you're like, oh, Tyson lost. I'm not surprised.
What was is that on YouTube, or where did you watch that, or did
Yeah,
you read it?
it's on you. It was originally an HBO documentary, but it's on YouTube now.
Oh, okay, I'll check that out. I was into those kind of stories,
You know,
but now I've just been watching documentaries about history, history documentaries, a lot about like the influenza and Spanish flu, and like trying to wrap my head around how it was and how it
yeah.
is now.
Ooh, I got a
But
couple of channels to suggest to you. You should
yeah,
look up
please,
Kings and Generals, and
kings and generals.
yeah, it
Okay.
tells like historical, not just like battles, but like military campaigns and empire expansion. It is the best. Like it's educational, but it's also really cool because they go deep into the battle strategy and show the troop movements too. And
Oh, interesting. I think I've actually been watching something similar to that. I kind of put like lately I have to have some kind of noise on in the background,
yeah,
so I either I would keep the TV on, but then the TV makes so much light. I don't like the light flashing, but I like just the noise of something.
yeah,
So I've been putting on documentaries on YouTube and then passing out.
definitely.
I've been
Yeah,
flying.
I've been binge watching so much. I,
Oh
I,
yeah,
yeah, I just finished Pornhub.
Pornhub.
Yeah,
Oh, good to know. Just killed all the videos, huh?
yeah, just watched them from the first one to the last. So,
I was going through. I was watching a lot of the Vikings. Vikings. I watched. Obviously the Tiger King one was pretty good.
yeah,
Um, and I don't know what else have I been
yeah.
binging on.
All right.
That just didn't worry watching the news. That's the other aspect.
Yeah.
You just like watch it, looking at in horror as it all
Yeah.
rolls out.
So rounding third and
It
coming home because I got to wrap this up because I got a Seder to get
yeah.
to, a virtual
Oh
Seder.
yeah.
Um,
Virtual. What happens in the Seder? I don't even know.
it's the holiday where we celebrate Moses taking the Jews out of uh, Egypt.
Oh, okay.
So
What do
we
you do normally on the holiday?
drink. You know, it's like, hey,
Oh, that's interesting.
hey, we survived. Let's eat. It's one of those holidays.
Cool. So are you all gonna just have your little meals and just sit with it and booze and sit around and look at each other on the internet?
Well, it's funny because I got some Manischewitz and I got a 4 meat pizza, and that'll be my Seder.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be there? Your mom and dad,
Mom,
or all?
dad, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews. With Zoom, we're all doing crazy stuff.
Oh man, everything's Zoom these days. Zoom, Zoom, Zoom.
Yeah. So my final question to you is, what's your
Yeah.
Easter plans? What's your family get together? Are you doing anything virtual or just you and your parents?
Well, my family is literally me and my parents, and we are not very religious people.
Ah,
So I think, I mean, when I was a kid, we used to do like, make Easter eggs and hide them and stuff. Now we just usually make a nice meal, drink a bunch of wine, and then watch a movie. That's usually it
perfect.
nowadays. So, and usually the movie that we pick is the most un-Easter movie you could possibly find.
Ooh, could I pick a movie
So,
for you, The Dows, this year?
well, I think last Easter was it? No, last Christmas or two Christmas. I remember one Christmas we watched Boogie Nights.
Wait, with the
For the
family?
You with the family, my mom and dad. So we were watching it. And it gets to the ending. The ending of the Boogie Nights, and Marky Mark's jerking off, and he goes, "I'm a bright shining star. I'm a bright shining star." And I remember my dad standing up, and he goes, "Well, that pretty much sums up Christmas there," and then just walks out of the room.
I mean,
So
I was going to suggest the
that's
original Terminator, but that, I mean, there are no limits. Jeez, Boogie Nights with the
yeah. And
family.
my mom helped she picked the film out. She was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know."
What? What? I mean, what was the expectations there?
Well, I remember being in this is back when there was the video stores, and I was there, and I remember my friend Sam, was the guy I lived with in college, was this, and he said, I say, hey, is this movie any good? And he goes, oh yeah, it's really good. And I was like, Mom, should we get this? And he's like, yeah, you guys should get it.
Oh my
You
god.
know that art. So,
Oh wow. Maybe maybe you should sign up for Disney Plus and just go with like a Pixar this year. You know,
oh man.
like Wally.
Well,
Wally's great.
I told you we have to pick the most un-Easter or un-Christmas one possible. So there's either a lot of shooting, death, or sex, or something.
You know, give Boogie Nights another shot. Just let's see if you can make it through this time.
It's a good film. It has its own things. It's a film about the adult film industry. So
Oh,
can't be surprised what you're gonna get, I guess, on that.
yeah. All right. Well, on that note,
All right,
Adam,
man. Well, have a good day there.
I will. Adam, always great talking to you, and thanks for joining us on Hunkered Down with Seth.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I'm gonna love it when we get to actually meet face to face again.
Oh, looking forward to it.